Like people everywhere, I was deeply moved as I watched the TV coverage of Chinese students demonstrating for democracy. And in a very personal way, my heart was in Tiananmen Square. But I guess I should start at the beginning. 10 years ago, in 1979. I was a Berkeley grad student then, with all that implies. I was 25, idealistic, independent, and impulsive. So when I got an invitation to teach in the People's Republic of China, which had been closed to the West for 30 years, I leapt at the chance. The college in Changsha had sent my guide, Han, 1,000 miles to meet me in Beijing. It was my guide's first trip to the capital, too. So, naturally, we took in all the sights. And everywhere we looked, we saw evidence of Deng Xiaoping's new policies on modernization. We even saw a democracy wall, where people put up posters to express their political views and other people answer with more posters. But I couldn't wait to get to Changsha to begin my new life. Changsha is in the remote province of Hunan, distinguished mainly for having been the birthplace of Mao Zedong. It's here I've been assigned to live and teach for the next 2 years. Oh, this was the fulfillment of my dream, to know the real China for myself.
Teacher Shapiro, we're almost there. Excuse, please. You should. It's not proper here. President Luming. President Luming was on the long march with Mao.
I'm afraid after Beijing, you will find Changsha to be old-fashioned.
Vice Dinyin was also with the army before coming to our college.
We welcome you as part of China's goal to achieve the 4 modernizations.
I would like to introduce Comrade Ho, Secretary of Changsha College, Foreign Affairs. Comrade Ho is in charge of you.
Thank you for coming so far.
I am very honored to be the first American invited to Hunan province.
You have to forgive us for cutting this welcome short. The entire college is assembled to hear your speech.
But I'm not prepared. I didn't know about any speech. So, as I've tried to express, I hope I can make a contribution to China's modernization. Perhaps I should finish by telling you a little bit about myself. I grew up in New York City. My undergraduate degree is from Princeton. My master's is in comparative literature from the University of Illinois. And I am studying for my PhD in Asian studies at Berkeley. I'm also interested in dance, and I belong to the San Francisco Modern Dance Company. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and I look forward to meeting each of you individually. Well, that went over like a lead balloon.
Excuse, please.
Oh, my speech. It really turned them off.
Oh, everyone was very pleased to meet you.
What on earth are they doing? It's so cold.
The dormitories are very crowded, and electricity is in shortage. So the better light is for the students to study outside.
Han, if you're going to help me, I need to know if I said something that offended everyone.
Chinese people think it's strange to talk about yourself so well, to boast of all your accomplishments.
Boast? I was just telling them my qualifications.
The better manners to have lied, to make yourself look worse. You have a big apartment, usually for a professor with large family. They have put in a phone just for you. You even have your own bathroom. Is everything all right? Oh, anything you need?
No, I don't think so. Han.
Huh?
If I wanted to go out later, is there anything open around here? No, I guess not.
Good night, Teacher Shapiro. And many welcomes.
Good night.
Aren't you going to eat?
Oh, no, I'm really not very hungry. Who's that attractive guy, the really tall one over there?
Liang Hong. Not a good one to know.
In this class, we are working on spoken conversational English. But instead of reading from the text this morning, as I understand you have been doing, I thought we might, loosen things up a little. By each of you telling me why you're studying English, or if you prefer, you can tell me about a book that you've been reading in English. So who would like to go first? Well, do I have any volunteers? All right. Please open your books to page 15. Hello. What are you doing?
I am your Yi. Our foreign guest does not like cafeteria food, so I will chop your vegetables.
Well, I don't keep vegetables in my bureau. What were you looking for?
Your laundry. I will take it to be washed.
Oh, that would be very nice. I keep it right in here. There you go.
Thank you.
Maybe you can help me. I never got a key for this door, and I can't lock it.
In China, you don't need to lock the door.
Well, I know there's no crime left in China, but I really would like to have a key so that I might be able to have a little bit of...
Only people who have something to hide lock the door.
there's no word for privacy in Chinese. 这是什么? Oh, thank heavens. I haven't had a hot bath since I... Get somebody else. Someone who doesn't mind freezing every damn minute. Every meal floating in lard. And no running water, except if they decide to turn it on that week. And then you have to boil it because it's so full of crap. Teacher Julie? Oh, God, why doesn't anybody knock here? What are you doing? I'm going home, that's what I'm doing. I never should have come here in the first place. I made a mistake, and it's better to just fix it now. You can't. Oh, yes, I can. This place may look like a prison, but I assume it's not. You're just gonna have to explain it for me.
No, you have to stay. President Lu Ming will blame me.
Han! If that's what you're worried about, I'll just tell President Lu Ming myself. You did everything that you were supposed to. I'm the one who failed here.
That's what he wants. He wants you to fail. Then he can block any other Westerners from coming here.
Why invite me then?
The new government in Beijing sent you. But President Lu Ming is very old-fashioned. He fears that modernization will betray our revolution.
Well, good. He'll be happy that I'm leaving then. He won't blame you.
He will blame me. He wants to blame me.
Wants to? Why? What's going on here?
No. It's nothing. I said too much.
Han.
Please, try a little longer, Teacher Julie. How can you desert your students?
My students? I can't get through to them.
But your students are so excited that you are here.
How many of you have finished the New Yorker short story that I passed out on the mimeoed sheets last time? Good. Now that we have dispensed with the text, let's discuss the short story.
I found the story interesting because it takes place in the character's mind. Our Chinese stories don't express such complex feelings.
Well, thank you, Liang Hung, for breaking the ice. Now, how many of you agree with Liang? Zhu Ma.
This was not a good story.
Why is that?
Because it is confusing. You cannot tell who is right and who is wrong.
The story is incomplete. It has no message.
But you only know Chinese literature since the liberation. In Western literature, there is not always a purpose like to rouse enthusiasm for socialism.
Well, that's right. Now, the purpose of this story is simply to point out the complexity of existence. It's about moral ambiguity. Do you all know that term, ambiguity?
Contradiction.
Right. Ah, well, I'm glad to see the Chinese women have voices too, Mei Ling.
I thought it was about how bad it was that Ted broke off the engagement.
Where did it say in the story that Ted and Philomene were engaged?
When he kissed her in the car.
You mean if Liang Hung kissed Mei Ling, it would mean that they were engaged?
People would think so.
Well, they were just out on a date. What do Chinese people do on dates?
Students are not supposed to date. It causes neglect of study.
Oh, well, cultural mores are different, but they're always changing. Since Freud...
Explain Freud, please.
Freud is spiritual pollution.
The 11th Party Committee called for liberation of thought. She should teach us.
Next time we'll discuss Freud, and Darwin, and Einstein. Marx, you already know.
tell you that I'm sorry that I won't be in your class anymore.
What happened?
The department leader is determined it would be better if I were removed.
Why? You're the brightest student that I have.
It's my political showing. Only those with good political showing can have contact with the Westerner.
Well, I'll look into it tomorrow. I'm sure there's something we can do.
No, don't.
Well, we can't talk right now. It's after lights out. Why don't you just come by my office tomorrow?
I can't. Someone would see me there. It's too dangerous.
This is more dangerous.
It's the only way we can see each other. No one can know. I want to be friends with you. But it's forbidden.
Friendship?
Between a Chinese man and you.
What's wrong?
Nothing. I was just getting too many fumes from my stove.
I heard voices.
I was just cursing out the stove, but it's okay now. Good night.
Good night.
I'm sorry. I should not come.
No. Please. Come in. I always feel clumsy doing this.
I've always thought you were very graceful.
For an American, you mean? Well, I guess now I'm supposed to give you a compliment. I've always thought that your English was very good.
For Chinese.
Would you like to be really daring and have some brandy in your tea? Chinese students aren't allowed to drink.
No. We just can't afford to.
Would you? So, explain to me, why were you dropped from my class?
It's very complicated. I don't know if I can explain.
You said something about your bad political showing? What did you do?
I didn't do anything. It isn't because of anything that I did.
I'm sorry. I'm not accusing you.
There is no way an American can understand.
Please. I want to understand.
It started when I was 4. It happened to my mother. She had a good job with the public security. And she loved the party. It had saved her from a life of terrible poverty. So when the party issued a national order that the people should give criticism to the leaders, she opened her mouth.
What did she say?
Nothing much. That her unit leader shouldn't yell at workers, and that she should get a bed for his housekeeper instead of making her sleep on the floor. But a year later, the party started another movement, the anti-rightist movement. And the leader of my mother's work unit labeled her a rightist for having spoken out. My mother was publicly denounced, and our whole family bore the shame when she was sent away to a labor camp for a political mistake. For 3 years, my mother lugged rocks and ladled excrement and wrote self-criticism. When she got out, I didn't recognize her. My mother's label meant that my sister and I would never be allowed to join the Communist Party or get decent jobs. So father completely severed our association with mother. He got a political divorce from her.
What happened to her? Did you ever see her again?
A few times my sister and I snuck away across town and visited her. But then it got too dangerous.
It's all right. It's only teacher Dade going out. Mine is the only teacher's apartment with its own bathroom. Did you resent your father for renouncing your mother?
I didn't question it. Like all Chinese, I revere my father. And I loved him because he was wise and gentle. And unfortunately, very literate.
Unfortunate?
Do you know what happened to educated people during the 10 dark years?
Well, I know that Mao came to despise the intellectuals and sent them to the fields to work with the peasants.
My father was one of those intellectuals. Also, he was labeled because he wrote for the newspaper. Father loved Chairman Mao more than life itself. But when I was 12, the party sent him to prison camp for quoting from Shakespeare and Mark Twain in the paper. When I saw him years later, he was a broken man. A stroke victim who couldn't get medical care because of his political cap. The party had worked him into a living death. I thought I could remove my mother's and father's label by proving my own love for Chairman Mao. So I joined the Red Guard. I was proud to be the youngest one in the pack. We were Chairman Mao's chosen army. An army of adolescents giving power over a world gone mad. The trains were free to us so we could travel the countryside. We ran around denouncing enemies of the revolution. When I came back to Changsha, the city had gone crazy. I still wanted to follow Mao's call, but it was impossible to figure out which of the many factions to join. The army had opened its arsenals to the people, and they were gunning each other down in the streets. Each side claimed a greater love for Chairman Mao, and both sides were willing to die for the right to wield power under Chairman Mao's name. Before the 10 dark years were over, millions of people had been jailed or killed or driven to suicide. My whole generation had grown up without home or school or ever knowing a time of peace.
You were right. In a way, it is almost impossible for me to absorb. But Mao's dead now. Things are much better under Deng Xiaoping.
I told you, Americans would never understand. You can't bear anything but happy endings.
But the changes have already begun. What about the tolerance of underground newspapers? What about democracy walls?
There is nothing like that here in Changsha. The party leaders here are going to resist all reform.
Surely even here, people must have learned from what happened.
People here are just blinking awake. They're not sure the nightmare's really over. No one even dares to speak of the things I've told you.
But the changes are going to come here, too. Just the fact that I'm here...
No one knows what would happen next. Nothing just changes in China. Everything is 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. Like my being dropped in your class. My past keeps pulling me back.
You can't give in to despair.
I'm not. I know. I almost did once. 3 years ago, an oil factory recruited me to play basketball for the team because of my height. And I got on there well until some tools were stolen from the workshop. I was first one accused. And the leaders believed it because of my family's background, my file. After they questioned and beat me, I was released. But I could no longer bear the shame of being branded forever. And I hated myself for having believed that I could have ever escaped it.
What stopped you?
My anger, I think. I wasn't ready to disappear until I got some answers. Something besides slogans and propaganda and lies.
And have you found any answers?
I'm beginning to. I realized that the 10 dark years couldn't have happened if we all hadn't followed without questioning. We treated Mao like he was a god, another emperor. Because for 4,000 years, we've been bred to revere the hierarchy, bow to fate, accept, obey. More than anyone, I long for Dun's reforms. But I know themselves. I've upset you. I shouldn't have said so much.
No. I'm glad you talked to me. It's just that your experience has been so different from mine. I mean, my life has been so protected. It almost makes me feel unreal.
Julie, what I felt when we spoke to each other in class. All the times I wanted to come up to you and I couldn't. What we're feeling for each other right now, that is real, isn't it?
But it doesn't mean that we can...
Just tell me that is real.
It's almost dawn. You better go. Be careful.
You know, you don't have to spend the whole afternoon. But you will be lonely. No. No, I won't. I'll just sit here and correct my papers. You go ahead. It'll be our secret. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since the other night. Can you come by my apartment again?
It's too dangerous.
We could plan it. What's wrong? Am I being too forward?
I like that about you.
Then come.
What about Han?
She never comes by my apartment after lights out. I don't think she's ever been to bed after 9 o'clock in her life. Besides, she's a friend.
Everyone knows Han is President Liu Ming's little spy.
That's absurd.
She's assigned to be your friend, so she can report back to him on you. And by the way, he would love to get rid of you.
I know that he would. And do you know how I know that? Han told me. I think you're wrong about her. Talk to you just one more time.
If anyone discovered I went to your room, they would send me to labor camp.
Labor camp?
No Chinese man can have a personal relationship with a Westerner, especially me. It's forbidden for a man to go alone to a room of a Chinese woman, let alone with...
But we haven't done anything.
But we want to. You know we want to.
As you know, I'm a married woman, and we found it to be my place to discuss a very serious issue of morals with you. Teacher Shapiro, I shared the book you lent me, Madame Bovary.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We do not see how you can consider this Madame Bovary a heroine. She put her own sensual pleasure above the duties of marriage.
But Bovary felt oppressed by her marriage, and she wanted the freedom to choose whom she loved.
Yes, I think Bovary was brave. My mother never saw my father before her wedding night, and her whole life she's hated him.
But that's all changed since the revolution. There's no more arranged marriages.
Now women hold up half of the sky in China.
The heavier half.
Yes.
Someone gave this message for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I had to see you.
Liang, that note you sent me was unbelievably risky. You tell me how dangerous our friendship is for you, and then you send old Ling to my room?
I know him from the factory. We can trust him. You're right. I can't let go of our friendship now that I found you.
No, you were right. You have much more at stake than I do. Because of your background, you are so vulnerable. If they could send you to labor camp, Liang, people can disappear in there. I can't let you risk that.
It's my life. It's my decision.
No, it's not just you. Now, I love my teaching job, and I wouldn't want to quit it. Yes, I admit it. I am very attracted to you. And if we were in the States, we could explore a relationship, date, have an affair.
We can do that. We just have to be careful.
I'm going back to the States. It wouldn't be fair to you. I know myself. No, I better go.
Am I on time?
Perfect.
Can I do anything?
Yes. Would you mind setting the table? I'd like to use the bathroom first. Stir-fried veggies. Nothing special, but it's better than the cafeteria food. You know, I heard the strangest thing the other day. I couldn't believe it. That you were a spy. That you made reports on me to President Lu Ming.
It's not true. Who told you that?
Well, I got this letter. That's strange. Did you see a yellow envelope here?
I don't think so.
I wonder where it could have gone. It was there just a minute ago. What's it doing in your pocket?
Judy, I didn't.
Oh. You must have thought it was for you. Well, go ahead. Read it. You must be curious. Why don't you let me read it for you? It says, I am very disappointed in you, Han. I thought you were my friend.
I'm your friend.
Friends don't make reports on each other.
I have to. I don't want to. I just said President Lu Ming good things about you.
You once told me that President Lu Ming wants to blame you. What did you mean?
I can't talk about it.
If we really are friends, Han, we have to talk about it.
I have a boyfriend. His name is Wang Xiong. And President Lu Ming disapproves.
Well, what is it about your boyfriend that President Lu Ming doesn't like?
No, President Lu Ming likes Xiong a lot. It's me he disapproves of.
You? You're so correct. How could President Lu Ming ever disapprove of you?
I try very hard, but I have a bad background. My father was a peasant landlord. Xiong's father was a general, and he is old army friend with President Lu Ming. I think President Lu Ming would like his own daughter to marry Xiong.
You said you have a boyfriend. Are you still seeing Zihong?
Yes, secretly. Because we don't have President Lu Ming's permission to marry.
I see. So you're trying to win President Lu Ming's approval by spying on me. And if you find something really damaging...
No, I wouldn't now. You are my friend now. See how I trust you with my secret. President Lu Ming told me not to see Zihong anymore. If you were to tell him, I'll never get a good job assignment.
Don't worry, hon. I won't tell. I will be loyal to you, just as long as you are loyal to me.
As you all know, dances have been strictly forbidden since 1966. At the request of teacher Shapiro's students and her advisor, Comrade Shou, we are making a single exception tonight to honor our foreign guest's birthday.
Here are the rules. Number 1, do not dance more than one time with the same partner. Number 2, it is impolite for girls to refuse a proper invitation. Number 3, maintain a distance between your torsos of at least 6 inches apart at all times. Number 4, do not breathe directly in your partner's face.
How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail.
Happy birthday, foreign expert Shapiro.
Thank you, Vice Dean.
I have never heard of this custom your students told President Lu Ming, that Westerners always have to have dance parties on their birthdays?
Oh, yes, always. You know how the Chinese always eat long noodles on their birthdays for longevity? Well, Americans always have dance parties on their birthdays just to prove that they're still alive.
You find the Bee Gees here?
Black market from Taiwan.
You're a fine dancer, Comrade Shou.
Oh, thank you. You know, before the 10 dark years, I used to dance to Tommy Dorsey.
No, he's coming this way.
You can't stay away from me. What are you going to do if he asks you to dance?
It will look worse to refuse. It's against the rules.
可以请你跳舞吗？ Will you do me the honor to teach me the fox, teacher Shapiro?
You're a very fast learner.
Tonight, this poem into Mandarin. Please help me, honored teacher. You have this beautiful phrase in English, making love. There is no such phrase in Chinese. All of our words for making love have become impolite. I want to know what it is to make love with you, Judith.
Overslept. You're really different from Western men.
Tell me how.
The way you love?
Like what? What do I do that is so different? Tell me. What would you like me to do?
You don't mean making love. You just don't seem to waver. And with Western men, there's always this dance. They come close and then they pull away.
But why?
Afraid of being tied down. And I guess I do the same thing. And you just keep coming forward.
Why would I pull away? It took me so long to find you.
Young, you're so serious.
Chinese are serious about these things. We fall in love once, so it's forever. You see those ducks? Those are Mandarin ducks. They choose one mate and remain devoted for life. Of course, if you take them to America, within 2 months, they ask for a divorce.
Then I'll be back. Wait for me here, and I'll give you the okay after midday nap. Okay?
All right.
I almost forgot to... You're here already. Let me make the bed. Really, I like to do it. Thank you. Let me get the towels for you. Oh, I need you to take them to be washed. They're not here.
They always be there.
You know what? I forgot. I already took them to the laundry myself. Would you please go and get them for me? I really need them right away.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Come on. No, don't. No. Stop it.
You miss American food? Hamburgers and milk trembles.
Milkshakes. No. But right now, I would love some crusty sourdough bread. A good, bright, brie, and a bottle of Zinfandel. Oh, I won't even ask where you got the one.
What's brie?
It's this soft, aged cheese, and it's got this white mold around it. You'd love it.
Oh, I'm sure. What's cheese?
Judy! I'm sorry.
I was just leaving.
He was just returning a book that I loaned him. Would you please stay and have dinner with me? I bought all of this food at the market. Maybe you'd like some wine. We were just tasting it. I made him try it. He never...
Don't worry. I won't tell.
I'm not worried. So, how's your boyfriend?
I won't tell President Lu Ming.
Well, there's nothing to tell. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to have a man in my room, but I'm an American and I don't have to follow every... Please don't say anything to him, hon. What would they do to Leon?
I won't tell. I won't hurt you.
I am sorry to say that an investigation has revealed an instance of immorality and apology that calls for the most severe disciplinary action. This incident of premarital relations is being exposed so that all of you should learn from this offense to protect yourself from the pernicious influence of Western decadence.
Stand and confess what you know. What is your position?
I am an English student teacher, foreign language department, Hunan Teachers College.
You have been assigned by the party to be the special assistant to the American teacher. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You have confessed that you engaged in illicit relations with the male student Wong. Is that correct?
Yes.
Speak up. In spite of the special counsel and warnings given to you by your unit leader.
Yes.
As a result of your indecent relations with Wong, you became pregnant. Then, you falsely claimed to be married in order to get a state abortion. You, Hanwu, have failed to live up to the education given you by our country. You have shamed the Communist Youth League, which honored you, to become a member. Do you have anything to say?
I have committed these indecent crimes. Whatever sentence is decided, I deserve it.
On behalf of the Hunan Teachers College District, you, Hanwu, are expelled from teaching. You are sentenced to the maximum time within our college authority, 3 years of reform through labor.
So bad about Helen. She really was my friend. She protected us. I couldn't do anything to help her. I feel like none of this would have happened if I hadn't.
It would have happened.
Where was Wong? Why wasn't he there?
We transferred him to Wunan Medical School.
What? She goes to prison and he transfers colleges? Oh, talk about double standard.
It's not that. Xiong comes from a family of influence. He could have gotten permission to marry Han.
But I thought students weren't allowed to marry.
There are always exceptions, especially with persuasion through the back door.
You mean Wen Sihong didn't really want to marry Han?
Xiong is a man without honor. We aren't going to be able to keep our affair a secret much longer.
They don't have any evidence. Han didn't tell them anything. We just have to be more careful.
Judith, I don't care if they put me in labor camp. I don't care what they try to do to me. I love you. It's all that matters to me.
I don't know how you can stand that cold water.
It's better than no water at all.
All right. I'm gonna pack the picnic and I'll meet you at the end of anti-imperialist road.
Okay.
No.
Ah, there you are. Brought you your salary so you wouldn't have to wait.
Oh, you didn't mean to do that. One of the girls from the dance troupe asked to use my shower.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh. Excuse me. I have to go home.
Oh my God.
Now don't panic. We're lucky he's coming home. Now you know he's kind-hearted and forward.
I know, and he likes me, but... Oh God, man, what are we gonna do now?
You have to go after him right now. Tell him the truth. Appeal to his authority to help. Make him feel important.
Oh,
You can get him to protect us.
I don't know, are you sure?
Yes. Hurry, before you can talk to anyone.
Okay, wait for me here. No, meet me at the river.
Well, you should have a boyfriend at your age. It's only natural.
I
I realize I should have talked to you about this before, but I didn't want to put you in an awkward position with the other cadres.
No, it's all right. As you know, there's a new directive from Beijing. Marriage between Chinese and foreigners is permitted now.
Well, Liang and I haven't really discussed our plans. And I was hoping you wouldn't say anything about it until we had...
Oh, of course, don't worry about that. I'll be very happy to give you permission as your committee head. You know, my son and Yinlen, when they got married, they were both 26. That's the recommended age. Of course, then we have to get permission from President Lu Min.
Oh, he will. We just weren't going to say anything, right away.
No, that would be unwise. You must announce your engagement immediately. If you wait, it could cause a grave diplomatic scandal. To say nothing of what would happen to Lian. You do intend to marry him, don't you?
Of course.
Oh, well then.
Did you catch him? Is he going to help?
Oh, yeah. As long as we're getting married. You knew that's what he was going to say, didn't you? Didn't you?
Anyone would know he would say that. We're lovers. It means something here.
Was that an accident? You walking in when Ho was there? Or had you heard the new directive?
Of course it was an accident. Yes, I admit. I want to marry you. I've wanted to ask you many times. Not like this. This isn't the way I want it to happen.
Well, it's happening. And it's out of control. Ho has given us his permission to marry. And now you have to get permission from all the other college leaders and a half a dozen other levels of the bureaucracy.
You sound so angry. I thought even in your country, people in love got married.
They do. But when they're ready and they've both decided that they want to.
Why don't you want to marry me?
We've never even spent any time together under normal circumstances. I don't know if I can even live with you. I do know that I can't stay here indefinitely. And I don't know what it would be like living with you back in the States, or if you could ever even go there.
Well, didn't you ever think about any of this before? Didn't you know this day would come?
Liang, I told you we were never going to see this the same way. I love you more than any other man I've known. But I have had other relationships where I thought I felt that way, and they ended up not lasting. I just don't know if this is different.
In other words, I was nothing more than another sexual adventure for you.
No, Liang, wait, please. Please don't do this. Wait, listen to me. Listen to me, listen! Look, Ho said it would take a long time for us to get all the permissions that we need. But as long as we're in the process, we can continue to see each other and you'll be protected. So, let's just tell the college officials we're engaged, and it'll give us some time to think things through.
You mean to give you time?
All right. Yes. Give me time. The Ministry of Higher Education, Peking Foreign Experts Bureau, Changsha College Office, Hunan Education Department, Foreign Affairs Office, and I even sent one to Deng Xiaoping at the Central Committee.
Don't worry, they will never respond. These will just sit in a pile with 1,000 other letters.
And here are the bribes.
No, presents. To develop important friendship.
Bribes. 20 cartons of cigarettes, 10 bottles of bourbon, 3 portable radios, and 6 watches. All right, let's get this over with.
Attention all students. The People's Daily announced today that the so-called democracy war on Xisan Street in Beijing must be closed. Premier Deng Xiaoping issued a statement saying the war is against the interests of stability and unity of the People's Republic. According to the Central Committee, no public posters of dissent will be tolerated in the capital.
What does it mean?
It means the winds have shifted towards repression again. I have to go.
Where?
I can't tell you. There's a group of us.
A group? What do you mean?
Judy, it's safe for you not to know. You should go ahead and deliver these things.
Alone?
I can't go now. This is too important. carefully.
Nominate myself for the People's Congress.
You can't. You aren't in the party.
You're right. But Deng Xiaoping himself declared that local election were to be open to all. I'm not a member of the party. But like Li Tao, I am a citizen. One of the people. One of you!
I am a member of my generation. The lost generation. The generation that remembers the last time the hardline dominators in the party seized control of our country. The generation cannot forget that dark decade of repression and thought control. In the past 2 years, the winds of freedom have begun to blow. China is beginning to modernize. But yet, here at Changsha College, President Liu Ming and his entrenched party hacks still run our lives like petty feudal tyrants. The new Constitution of 1978 promised us freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and democracy. But freedom cannot be handed to us from above. We must seize it, use it, live it. Down with bureaucracy! Down with bureaucracy! Down with feudalism! Down with feudalism! Hands up democracy! Hands up democracy! Down with bureaucracy! Down with bureaucracy! Down with feudalism! Down with feudalism! Hands up democracy! Hands up democracy!
I heard your speech.
What do you think?
You were very eloquent.
What's wrong? Didn't they take the presents?
Oh yeah, they took them all right.
What did they say? Are they going to help us?
Liang, are you crazy? I just blew a small fortune bribing and groveling to a bunch of corrupt officials to get us permission to marry for your safety, and you just stood up and publicly attacked those same officials.
Because I had to.
Had to? I saw you, Liang. You nominated yourself.
It's not something I planned. I couldn't help myself. It's my moment in my country's history. I thought if there was anyone who would understand it would be...
I don't understand. While you were making history, you completely forgot about us. Do you honestly think that President Liu Ming and the others are going to protect us now?
You have to keep on wooing them. As long as President Liu Ming and the others believe we're planning to be married, they will think twice before arresting me because they won't want the international publicity.
Oh, now that's very interesting. Tell me something, Leon. Is this what you had planned from the beginning? You get your engagement to me to protect you. You get me to make your dirty little bribes for you so you can safely play political hero. You're using me.
You have it a little backward, Judy. You're the one who's been using me for your little exotic adventure. I'm the one who really wanted to marry you. For you, the whole thing was a sham.
No. No. It was a test, and you failed. And the funny thing is, I thought I was the one who was uncommitted.
You are. You only want a relationship that is casual and easy and temporary. You made it very clear you never wanted to marry me.
And I haven't been given much choice in the matter, have I?
Then forget it! You're a spoiled, selfish Westerner. You don't love me. You don't even know what love is!
Free the election! 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 Free the election!
President Liu Ming, the people want to talk to you.
President Liu Ming, you have forbidden us, the candidates, to make any more speeches. You are distorting the outcome of what is supposed to be a free election.
President Liu Ming, please come out and struggle with us. If you do not grant us our rights as candidates, we will proclaim a hunger strike until the National Election Committee hears our complaints and comes to investigate.
You're a bunch of disorderly hooligans. The college will decide how our elections are to be conducted. Not a mob of anti-party, anti-socialist, counter-revolutionaries. I'm going home and to bed. And I order you all back to your dorms to do the same.
We are now on hunger strike. We will now sit down here. We will stay here until legal election rules are enforced at Tamsa.
Strike! 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 We've been here 67 hours. Don't give up! We just received word that the students at the Hunan Mining and Metallurgical Institute are boycotting classes in support of a hunger strike!
I need to speak with Liang Hung, please.
Yes. 李道，你过来。 Teacher Shapiro, we have all agreed that you should stay completely away from the protest. This is an internal Chinese affair.
Would you please tell Liang that I received a form from the Changsha College's office that requires both of our signatures? I need to know what he wants me to do.
Well, that should be clear. Liang Hang told me your engagement is ended.
Their confidence is cracking. They're in no condition to march to Beijing.
We haven't come this far to stop now.
Hey, you're the leaders here. You have to stick together.
We are separate candidates. He's got his approach, the intellectualist approach. I've got mine.
What's that supposed to mean? What are you? The new Red Guard? These people aren't just your political tools, Li Dao.
Stop it! Stop it! You're both exhausted! Zhongji. Operator. I've been waiting 8 hours to be connected to Beijing. Yes? Yes? Hello, is this the New York Times?
Victory! We won! The National Election Committee is coming to investigate the election violations! strike, been carried by the AP to every major newspaper in every major city in the world. Except the Hunan Daily. Except our own city's newspaper. We are not through yet.
Notifying the New York Times.
I should have done it sooner. Congratulations. Come in. Please sit down.
Teacher Julie, do you have the American newspaper articles?
No, not yet, but my father's going to send them to me. For your press book.
What's that?
She's jesting with you.
I better go.
Stay.
Well, now what? The National Election Committee is here investigating, and then what happens?
Oh, they've already found President Lu Ming broke the law. They're going to conduct a new election. And Lang and I will surely be elected. We're going to give them hell with the People's Congress. Right, Lang?
Are you going somewhere?
Only on a short trip to Hong Kong for spring break. I need to get away from here for a little while. But I'm thinking of getting my contract shortened, so I may be going home very soon.
I think that's a good idea. I'm sorry we cannot stay. But we wanted you to know we were grateful to you for using your position as foreign expert to help our cause.
Liang.
Julie, you're back so soon. What happened on your vacation?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't realize you were eating.
No, nonsense. I'd seen you during the event.
Thank you. It's quiet around here. Is everyone back from spring break?
Oh, yes, they're back.
And how did the election go?
There will be no new election.
The Central Committee made an official announcement condemning student demonstrations.
President Lu Ming has taken it as a signal that he can punish the protesters.
Well, I thought the protesters had won. The National Election Committee found that President Lu Ming was wrong.
No, the party is higher than the National Election Committee. The party, in effect, has reversed the decision of the committee.
What's going to happen to the protesters?
We have to make public confessions.
What about Li Dao and Liang?
Looks like they're going to be sentenced to labor camp.
What students did not uphold the 4 basic principles?
The entire student body was united in upholding the 4 basic principles.
me remind particularly those of you who hope to graduate next year that your future job assignments will be affected by the statements you make here today. If you confess your true view of the counter-revolutionaries Li Dao and Liang Hong as anti-socialist individualists, leniency may be granted. Think of your family, each of you, and think of your future before you speak.
Counter-revolutionary Li Dao provided information to illegal underground newspapers. His own campaign manager, the student Ma Song, has confessed that Li Dao's political ambitions were purely individualistic.
I had a secret purpose in infiltrating these elections. I wanted to find out as much as I could about those who were attacking our Communist Party.
For conspiracy and counter-revolutionary activities, Li Dao shall be expelled from Chengsha College and sentenced for 3 years to labor camp to be reformed.
This political study meeting will break for afternoon rest period and will resume in exactly 2 hours. The state will show that individualist Liang Hong is guilty of counter-revolutionary activity and clandestine sexual relations endangering the national security, and conspiracy even more heinous than that of public enemy Li Dao. Dismissed.
Official permission to leave right away. They're going to use evidence about your liaison with Liang.
But I can't leave now.
I told President Lu Min you have decided against their marriage because of cultural differences. If you leave now, we can avoid diplomatic complications.
But he's going to send me out to labor camp.
Oh, Liang knew that risk when he led the protest.
How can you stand it? I mean, one faction or the other seizes power in the Central Committee, and all you can do is conform.
Swings to the right, swings to the left. It's how the revolution continues. Oh, part of the great river of history that flows on. It'll be better for our great-grandchildren.
That's what you all say. You're willing to sacrifice your own lives for the sake of future generations you don't even know.
Ah, for Chinese love is sacrifice. Perhaps come back for a visit. Oh, I forgot something important. We've received an official letter from Beijing through my desk. I haven't opened it.
Well, this is the last straw. It's official permission from Premier Deng Xiaoping's office for Liang and I to marry.
How can he know about you and Liang?
I wrote to him, but we never thought he'd answer.
May I? Amazing. This must have reached his desk as someone's idea of how to promote diplomacy with the West. But this, no one could stop you from marrying Liang immediately. Even President Lu Min wouldn't dare harm Liang if we were to marry a foreigner with such connections.
You mean the illusion of my connection to Deng Xiaoping would be that powerful?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm looking for the Liang Hong.
That is bad.
got a letter from Deng Xiaoping's office giving us permission to marry. It can save you from labor camp.
I no longer fear it. I don't want you to marry me to save me.
But I don't want you to go to prison. I'm afraid of what they'll do to you there. Liang, maybe you don't love me anymore,
Julie,
but you...
I'll always love you. Don't you know that? You were my first and only love. I wanted you to feel that way about me. And when you couldn't, I shamed myself by holding on to you anyway.
No. No, no, no. I kept talking about my freedom because I was afraid. You could always see what was inside of me. My fear, my selfishness, and you just kept loving me. More and more and more. And I just didn't know how to love that way.
But if I weren't facing prison now, you wouldn't be here telling me you want to marry me.
Maybe not. But how can I separate the two? But it is what I'm choosing. It is what I want.
I can't take your beautiful sacrifice.
This doesn't feel like sacrifice. This just feels like loving you. Damn! Why is this so hard? It's all upside down, like they told me it was in China when I was a little girl. Liang, marry me. Like a Chinese. Forever.
Yes.
You.
Silence! Liang Hung, come forward. You're late. Where have you been?
We had an official revolutionary comrades' wedding, graciously paid for by the college leaders. I stayed on to finish my 2-year contract, but Liang and I decided he should have the opportunity to see my country as I had his. And after the inevitable round of gift-giving, we got him permission. After our departure, policies warmed towards freedom. Both my friend Han and Liang's fellow protester, Li Dao, were released early from labor camp. And the torch of freedom ignited by Liang and Li Dao was raised again. This time for the whole world to see. As I watched the army shoot down a brave protester, I knew it could have been my husband. And I was grateful Liang was in the U.S. with me. Later, we heard that Li Dao was amongst our friends killed at Tiananmen. Away from China, Liang and I are haunted by it. For once you have lived there, it will always pull your heart. Together, we wait and hope for the winds to warm. For in China, the winds always blow first warm, then cold. And it is the burden of the Chinese people that they must continuously watch the skies for changes in direction.